As war plans are being developed from an idea of military revanchism born in the Savinkov period, promoted by Wrangel himself to the Tsar, into a serious effort involving more and more branches of the government, the lack of Russian industrial capacity is becoming more and more apparent. With limited conscription enacted, even the general public is now aware that war, once more, is brewing. Politically, we can package the situation as a response to increasingly hostile economic policy by the Reichspakt and our moral duty to come to the aid of the oppressed Slavic peoples of Eastern Europe. Economically, new production lines must be created to turn the infantry-based Russian armed forces into the world's most modern army. Not only is this a necessity for successful execution of warfare, it will also serve to minimize the catastrophic losses of men that have led to the political upheaval of the past. The Russian army must, first and foremost, preserve its strength, and the motherland must bring home her sons alive. As we're making our way through 1939 and heading towards the inevitable confrontation with the Reichspakt, the lack of military production is really starting to bite. I am nowhere near where I wanted to be on civilian factories, but it is time to focus in earnest on military factories to start production of things like self-propelled artillery, flame tanks, and railway cannons before we are probably once again refocusing on some civilian factories, simply because we are lagging behind our opponents by quite a bit. So that is going to take priority from some other things. Also, the fortification situation. We have some strong points created through the government program with potential fallback near Smolensk, but we will still attempt to at least somewhat fortify the front lines and see that we can manage to hold positions as much as possible. And for that, we will throw in a fortification program to at least build some basic structures on the front lines where the territory is not easy to defend. The Navy is also going to undergo some form of a little bit of reform, despite the fact that we don't have a particularly strong Russian Imperial Navy. The submarine brigades have been split up. One of them is going to operate in the north, in the Barents Sea, in order to potentially threaten the Norwegian lines in the north. But the others have been redeployed to the Baltic in order to conduct mining operations. And when war breaks out, we will see how things will work in that regard. Also, we're strengthening the Baltic fleet at the expense of the Pacific area, where with two major naval powers of German East Asia, as well as Japan, we are not really easily going to be in a position to challenge any of that. Right, let's get back to the fighting on the ground. Actually, no, we've got a military-industrial organization to deal with. Which one do we get? IMZ, what is this, support equipment? Yes, it is support equipment. All right. So what do we have? This is production efficiency cap. This is production efficiency gains. This is resource requirement. That might actually... the 10 steel is fine, but I think we're okay on aluminium, so which is a rare occurrence and generally not. I could reduce the cost somewhat. We could, that's resource and cap, that's gain, cap, and resource needs, and that is, but we can't go there because we haven't actually unlocked these yet. So currently we've only got these two available, or we go down these paths here. But nothing particularly really important in order of which to take it, I think. So, we'll go with this is a 15% research bonus though, but we're not really using this for researching an awful lot, so I don't think that's particularly helpful. Let's take the this would not. Let's go down this route, so we have more options available. So for now, we're going to get. Are we at cap? We are at cap, so it's a good idea to start with the production efficiency cap. Let's do that first. And since this is not an equipment trade, we don't need to spend army experience to upgrade anything. All right. So what's our... Okay, max is 160. I do have to spend some command power in potentially upgrading some generals and admirals, but we'll get to that. For now, in the Pacific states, we are clearing out still 5 remaining enemy divisions. Are they? No, of course, the bug is active again. They're not encircled, but hopefully once I actually unpause, it'll fix itself. Some people have said in the comments that this is also happening in the base game, so it's not necessarily a mod issue. But the Union State has been making great progress actually recently, and I'll put that down to us drawing enemy resources away from the front lines by chipping away at their divisions. So we'll continue weakening the lines here. We'll have to retake Chicago, and St. Louis might be an interesting target, but Chicago would also deprive them of some, would also give us some forward supply south of Milwaukee. Making our way towards St. Louis with no, we do have Kansas, so we could make a push from Kansas City to St. Louis, or but I think first we'll work towards Chicago and see if we can do something there. In the north, in Michigan and areas, we're not going to engage because this is far from supply, and this is forested area. The tanks are really not the right kind of units to fight there. So what we'll do for now is clear out the encircled 5 enemy divisions here still, which brings us over to Sicily, where we have failed to break through Ancona. And that means, unfortunately, let me just quickly check. Oh yeah, we have to use proper logistics. So it might still be possible. Well, if we can get supply here, it might still be possible to. We should be able to get supply from Pescara delivered here. So let's. I'll shorten the front lines and. We'll make another attempt at Ancona and see if we can surround these enemy divisions here. Okay, front lines have been redrawn, so let's see if we can manage to get supply up and plan the attack with the mountain divisions into the coast to cut off the Italian northern forces here, and to finally get that river taken, because that's been a major problem for a long time. All right, so that includes the Papal Volunteers. In Egypt, we have 3 divisions under General Turkul, very fitting, where I think we are going to try and chip away. Well, of course, the northern Aleppo front immediately starts collapsing, and but we'll try to we'll see if we can manage to cut off the enemy divisions here. We've got some Ottoman and some Jabal Shammar divisions that we may be able to cut off from retreat and destroy. On the other side, we are gradually and slowly making our way towards the coastline, but it's a hard fight, despite the fact that these guards divisions are actually relatively experienced by now and relatively well equipped as well. Let's have a quick look at the templates just briefly. So obviously these templates need to be upgraded, and the guards divisions need AA, and well, at least they have engineers, but the guards divisions also need additional artillery. The regular infantry I'm probably going to leave as is and just throw in the field hospitals. But the guards divisions are the ones that are going to go for the firepower. That said, 91 soft attack is not really great, but we can upgrade these as we go. I do like to have these as 2 separate divisions because it makes that a little bit easier. Sorry if my voice sounds a bit strained. I have my back injuries back with a vengeance, so it's actually painful to breathe at the moment. But I do want to get an episode out. It might be a bit shorter today, so let's see how that goes. Anyway, which is the major front right now? I think Italy, where we have to see if we can, before we unpause this, see if we can get supply. Yes, we can get supply. Okay. Really important, easy to forget. Because set the motorization priority to motorized, because it even if on expeditionary forces. So with that we can regain some organization, and they're still low on supply, but and of course now that friendly divisions are coming in as well. But the enemy is starting to shuffle their troops around, so that gives us probably an opportunity. We'll wait for the 41st to move off, and then we'll try to launch another assault once they have recovered some. Here we are going to need to re-engage because we are getting counter-attacked everywhere, but let's see if we can get the tanks engaged here. And now the encirclement penalty comes in. Was it always 10%? I always thought it was more than that. I always thought it was 30%, but maybe this has been changed. Either way, we are trying to get the tanks engaged. Have to keep an eye on that. And then we will probably move north, and this is unfortunately cross-river attacks, all of it. So we might just we might move north, try to take the airport, and then go for Chicago once more. We do have to keep an eye on the frontline developments elsewhere. If the Union can manage to keep their momentum, or if they are getting pushed back again eventually by these syndicates. But I think right now it does look like we have a positive momentum again, which has been very, very hard for quite a while. All right, the assault against the Egyptian troops here is not easy. So the guards divisions here are struggling to push these enemy divisions out, but I think we'll manage to break through there eventually. And then if we can rush forward into the desert, that would be beneficial. All right, we have pushed forward, but the 74th is now exhausted. We have taken the enemy airport, so we'll dig in here for now. Just a quick look. Yeah, these also need to be motorized. We have pushed forward, so we'll hold that for now with the 74th. They need to recover, while the 70th and 73rd are still fighting it out with the Ottoman 14th in order to link up and close the gap. So the idea here being that we'll eventually take Basra, but it's a major sunstorm going on there, which doesn't help anyone either. Do we have another military industrial organization, Dux? I'm sorry that I have to keep looking back because I just keep forgetting which ones they were for. That is for we're using that for fighters. Okay. So we have the second trade point right now. That's only for, what do we get? We got 10% range instead of air superiority. Range is good. That gives us air superiority or range, or alternatively we can go for a better air attack on the other side, and that I'm tempted to skew towards air attack. I haven't looked at what the latest meta is, but yeah, I think I'm going to go for extra air attack. Not going to spend the 5 right now, because we might have to revisit that in relatively soon anyway, and change the model up a bit. All right, we have regained some. Okay, but we have regained some organization here. But interestingly enough, there is an opening as well. So what we could do, in order to get a wider front line, move the papal troops forward under Ungarn Sternberg, because the Italians are. There is a counterattack from a Sicilian division, so the Italians are forced to having a gap in their lines. And that gives us a wider front against Ancona, so that's important. Here, once again, we need to get involved here and launch the attack ourselves this time. Okay, there we go. Now we're talking, and with that, we should be able to reduce this salient relatively quickly. And back to Sicily. A quick look at Egypt. Okay, we're making progress. Persia as well, and that I think. Yeah, let's get back to Italy. As a quick look, we'll wait for the 34th to make its way north, and then we will launch we'll see if we can get there before the enemy does, and I think we have. Yep, we have gotten there before the enemy does, and that gives us a potential that will hopefully stretch enemy lines, We haven't really dug in yet, and we're again actually at the edge of our supply lines here. So, but there are 3 divisions, including 2 French infantry divisions that are quite capable, parked in Ancona now. So that is. We'll see. We have disrupted the supply, however, from Ancona towards the front lines here, which is going to significantly reduce the fighting capacity of the troops on the other lines. So this is not a bad position to be. We'll be sending the 64th north as well. Let's see if we can hold this. Otherwise, we'll retreat from there. And okay, we're getting attacked now out of Ancona, and I think we may have to fall back from the northern position. So we'll wait this attack out, and we don't have and we'll counterattack here while the enemy divisions are retreating, and see if we can break through towards the port. Unfortunately, there are 5 divisions now here, so no, we cannot break this. One of them is retreating, but I think we'll be up. I think we'll be up against some serious opposition here if we try to break through this. And we are going to have to fall back in the north as well. So the northern thrust here has not been successful. We're falling back from that, and we'll see if we'll see if we can break this. But I think they are now, even if we can't break this, they're now pulling enough troops away from the southern lines in order to stabilize their front line that we might be able to create a breakthrough elsewhere. It would be nice if we had been able to encircle them, but just simply us being here is causing major disruptions for the enemy. The first goal. Oh yeah, that would be Operation Yekaterina. After nearly 2 decades of humiliation for Russia, we will soon be ready to end the German hegemony. War is inevitable, and it's a matter of time when it will start. Well, we're going to have to phrase that a little differently, but yeah. The main question is who will get the upper hand by attacking the opposing side. The Stavka already started drawing plans for Operation Yekaterina in 1934 on the orders of President Savinkov, and have continued preparing them under Wrangel's direction. A number of possible plans have been presented to Vladimir III for final approval, but first, we must figure out the specifics. Oh, are we going to get a Schlieffen plan? The most pressing of which is the initial target of the strike. General Slashikov, with the support of General Field Marshal Markov and other black epaulets, suggests striking deep into Ukraine, which has formidable armed forces, but one factor makes it an attractive target: its geography. Our armor and cavalry can outmaneuver the enemy in the plains of eastern Ukraine in a great battle of encirclement, and if the plan succeeds, we may be able to threaten Kiev and link up with potential allies in the Balkans. All right, we're going to have to review that a bit. I think the most important part here is going to be supply. So, what's the situation at the Ukrainian lines? There are Kharkiv, and we've reviewed this before. So taking Luhansk and Kharkiv, cutting off the south, potentially reducing Crimea, would be a sort of veritable way to shorten the front lines and simply just get, if we can get through here, that would be one way to do it. In what do we got? Ruthenia, we'd have to make it to Minsk. Bobruisk would be a target, but we have no railway connection, so that wouldn't be particularly helpful because we would have to actually start, and it's swampy, and we have a big river in the way. So this is more of a defensive line, I would say. The Baltics would be an interesting path as well, because if we push towards Riga, then we cut off the whole north. We secure the approaches towards Petrograd with a friendly Finland. We would then have a basis towards the rest of the Baltics, and we would be able to potentially, move out rather than be bottled up in Petrograd. So that would be a massive Petrograd security advantage. So let's see what else they're suggesting. Generals. And potential allies in the Balkans as well. Yes, that's the other topic here. So right now, we've had good relations with the Belgrade Pact, and we have potential to work together with the Balkan powers in order to dismantle the Reichspakt here. This is the much bigger operation, though. This is a smaller one on the north. Generals close to Denikin, such as Golovin, suggest a more direct approach, a heavy strike into White Ruthenia. I don't see that happening, especially that's well-fortified lines here. Where are we? The Dnieper-Daugava line may be a difficult one to break, you don't say. Advocates of this plan acknowledge, but if we gain the upper hand, the benefits will be incredible, and we can quickly press into Germany proper. Not seeing that, because we would absolutely be overstretching if we're aiming for Königsberg. There's still Lithuania in the way, and we would be severely overextending into enemy territory. While cutting German forces into two separate fronts. Once Minsk falls, we'll be able to threaten Ukraine and the Baltics from the west and the east and secure our flanks more thoroughly. Not agreeing here. Finally, there's the Baltic option. General Kutinov and Admiral Alexander Kolchak argue that an incursion into the Baltics will give us greater control of the Baltic Sea. That I agree with. Allow us to threaten the German heartland more quickly and defend Petrograd from any German incursions, bypassing much of the German Ostwall altogether. Yes, so we could, if we secure the United Baltic Duchy and take Riga, that'll open up a lot of things. Now, can the Imperial Navy take on the Kaiserliche Marine? I have my doubts. That said, even if we were just getting out with submarines and able to mine the Baltics and prevent any kind of German threat on our northern flank, that'll be already of great importance, especially that Sweden is part of the Reichspakt as well. So we're going to have to contest with the Swedish Navy too. So, which plan do we take? Attack into Ukraine. This would give the Ukrainians an attack bonus. No, this would give me an attack bonus against the Ukrainians, right? That is, I think, what this is trying to say here. Otherwise, it wouldn't make sense. So this would give me an attack bonus against the Ukrainians. This would be against White Ruthenia, and this would be against Riga. So that means we'll have to decide which thrust first to take. This is going to be a hard-fought front line. And I think we'll make some gains here, especially early. If we can shorten the lines here, that would be great. But it's not going to be an easy fight. The Baltic Duchy might be an easier one to take. What's the terrain like? So let's have a quick look at the situation on the ground. Yeah, this is all forest. So going through with the tanks here is not going to go well, which means the tank operations against Ukrainian territory are probably going to be more effective. I am tempted to go through to Gutepov's plan, because that'll allow us to use infantry, hopefully, to break through the how big are the fortifications here? Level 3 forts. Yeah, this is level 3 forts all along. This is not going to be easy to break with infantry. We might need some railway guns here. And how's the supply lines? Yeah, supply is going to be fun here as well. So we have Pskov and Dvinsk, but Dvinsk is right at the front lines. And there is not much until we reach Riga. So this is going to be a hard fight. Ukraine is probably, but it would be very advantageous if we could take this. It's not that we can't do both anyway. It's just a question, where do we want to give ourselves an attack bonus? Ukraine is potentially the more open field, but I don't see us doing any kind of big arrow movements into Ukraine. That sort of thing usually doesn't end very well. So this is probably more going to be a defensive war, going back and forth against the Ukrainians. Although we do have some more space here to potentially break and take some important positions early on. But I think this is such a key position. Yeah, I'm going to go with the Riga plan. And now Operation Yekaterina has been finalized. We should have, not sure if that actually shows up in here. No. So we'll have to see. This is probably some form of country modifier. I don't know where it shows up. But now we have an attack bonus against the United Baltic Duchy, which I think is going to hopefully... Narva is going to be almost impossible to take. And we can try, but probably the majority of the thrust has to happen in the south. So this is where we're going to deploy additional infantry in order to break through the forests. So I'm going, whatever guard infantry we're going to get trained is probably going to get deployed here, and the light tank forces are going to work in Ukraine, depending on, and we definitely need more infantry here because that is not enough to defend against any kind of major, especially that these are regular infantry divisions, against kind of major incursions. All right, let's see how are we actually on artillery. We are actually relatively short on artillery. How many factories? Yeah, 5 factories on artillery is probably not going to be enough. We might need 10 on artillery. Just because I have so much artillery to backfill. Okay, so now that's done. We can't do the preemptive war, but I did say we were going to do the 5th columnists. So entire basis of the Ostwald's security is that they are held up in part by the German armed forces and in part by forced anti-Russian sentiment. Yes, indeed. They seem to underestimate the fact that much of Eastern Europe despises Berlin just as much, a fact that we will utilize to our greatest potential. We will arm and organize dissidents all throughout the Oststaaten to spread as much chaos as possible and help secure our war aims. Yes. We're gonna run that. So, like I said, the political justification obviously is to liberate our Slavic brothers in Eastern Europe from the yoke of German imperialism. And to be fair, there is definitely an interest in a democratic Russia of not occupying enemy territory, unless it is historically Russian, but I'm sorry, I couldn't keep a straight face, but to create a strong democratic belt against the Reichspakt and to get the Eastern European states returned into the Russian imperial sphere of influence. Okay, Greece, yes, please. Any kind of industrial capacity we can get ourselves is going to be a good one. We are 44 days away, so we're going to have to save up our political power to get through the final step of the German capital stranglehold. This would be great because it would reduce the cost for economic and conscription laws. The problem is I don't have the 100 political power to make it happen. The conscription, although I do still want to get to extensive conscription. So this might still be useful to have, especially that I also need to go to partial mob. So this would, while it's a zero-sum game, right? It would cost me 100 to take, and it would save me 50 here and 50 here. So. Other than that, what else does it do? Mobilization speed, planning speed be good. We can't take it until we're at war. So anyway, let's get back to things. All right, we'll widen the front lines to increase the attack of cleaning this up here, and then we'll redeploy north against Chicago, Sicily. We're falling back from the northern position, and we will see. We'll see. I don't think this attack is going to be viable. So we'll abort that attack for now, and we will see if some troops move out once we have. Once we're reduced here from the northern position. No, do not counterattack. Simply stay. Let them redeploy, and then we'll see where we launch the next assault. So okay, we'll let the divisions rest and recover for now, which means we can focus on Egypt, where I think we are making progress here. Yeah, we're about to dig out some of the some Ottoman troops in the desert, and here we are, I think, soon in a position to support the assault south. Okay, so that's running well. That means PSA, we can focus here next. All right, last division standing, 1st Michigan Red Guard is about to be defeated. There they go, which means that now we are redeploying to against Chicago, and that means we'll be redeploying here with the goal of retaking Chicago, cutting off a few enemy divisions in the process. And that has just cost another 45,000 surrendered or fallen for the syndicates. And they cannot keep bleeding troops like this without creating weaknesses in the front lines. And that hopefully is going to start causing some, there they're retreating. That is causing some weakness elsewhere. And this is great because we don't want to have to do all the fighting. All right, that means Sicily. We'll wait and see where the enemy divisions are moving while we are regaining some organization. They are redeploying across the lines here. And we have chosen the strategy of the Western March. The Russian army is offensive in spirit and will, but the methodology of the offensive can vary. The Russian army's mechanization lobby, Markov, Shlashikov, Rodziako, Messner and others see a surgical armored thrust as the obvious core of the offensive. Our mobile and air forces must be concentrated into a single force of unstoppable shock, capable of piercing through the enemy front and destroying the German armies in great battles of encirclement. However, this is a method we have no practical experience in. More careful planners such as Denikin, Kanzin and Golovin represent the opposite view, which seeks a neo-Suvrovrian approach. Yes, armor is important, but only as one tool among many. The main focus is on firepower and the destruction of enemy forces as a steady engine of destruction with trusted methods applied to modern arms. I am very much on Denikin's side here. So this would... okay, so we did get a national spirit. Where did it go? Separating powers, idealism. No, I don't see it. Am I blind? Am I missing it? Where is it? I don't know. Okay, anyway, maybe we only get it once the actual war breaks out. That might be. So we could either get division speed and armored attack, cavalry and motorized mechanized attack, or infantry attack, breakthrough, artillery, and motorized artillery speed. Now, what I've just said, strategically, as tempted as I am, we are not running large RO operations with armored forces simply because we don't have them at this point. And also because the idea is to preserve Russian manpower as much as possible. So we will not overstretch ourselves. I think I do like and we are an extremely infantry-heavy army at this point. Firepower is the Russian army's hammer. We are going with Denikin's strategy. All right. We have a new rifle. Perfect. So we've got the Samozarya. Okay, give me a second. I want to do this right. Samozaryanaya Vintovka I don't know how to say that in Russian. 1940. So the 1940 rifles. We've got what is it? Is it okay? Oh, so this is a Tokarev. So this is a semi-automatic, and yeah, that seems it looks like that. So a semi-automatic rifle. And I think with that, we are more or less up to date with infantry equipment. We do need to do we do need to get on top of these support equipment things, however. Maintenance companies and the field hospitals as well. So I'm going to keep these up to date, unless there is industrial research to be done. But I think we are. Synthetics is another problem because aircraft production. Also, equipment conversion is something I'd really be keen to do because that speeds things up so much. And this actually, I'm not going to do naval refits, but that'll speed things up a lot. This is still way ahead of time, and we haven't done the radar techs. So. How's air? We're getting close. Yeah, we're gonna have to start doing air research. Actually, that's what I said earlier. Okay, the heavy machine guns is going to be the first one I'm going to do. So we'll do that, and we'll be using we'll be completely focusing on the fighters on this one. And I'm actually using the IMZ for the support companies. Well, that makes sense. Anyway, outdated equipment in production. Yes, that would be the rifles. So do we have the? Yes, we have that assigned. All right. So we don't need the MIO assigned. So we can simply now. I could start a new production line, but honestly, right now. We're doing all right on infantry equipment. A lot of this is just down to the training still, but I'm simply going to change the line into the more modern semi-automatic rifles. All right. We could convert equipment, but I don't think that's going to speed things up. It's just going to save steel, which doesn't make a difference. So yeah, let's not convert stockpiles, but work on building up our production efficiency cap again. And that is that. All right. We are we're focusing heavily on military factory production for the rest of the year because that is going to be necessary. All right, Italy. Troops are moving about, but not seeing an opportunity just yet. So we keep an eye on that. Tanks are moving into position in the Pacific states. And that means we have a look at the Egyptians, where we're still trying to break our way through the enemy forces here. We've got 4 divisions aligned now, but I think once we're just dealing with the Jabal Shammar division, we should be able to get through that relatively or reasonably quickly. So that's good. We've made progress. Here, and the 74th Guards are almost recovered. And that means they can actually give firepower support from the north, and that allows us to keep using our momentum and push further through. Target is to just reach the coast, encircle these divisions, cut them off, and destroy them. Another MIO. That was the rifle one, yes. Okay, so what do we got? I think I did go with not with the medals here. But in the second round, we went with medals. We've done this, which is exclusive to the other ones, which means we can. Okay, so there's three options here. I can get cheap mine fuses, 1% breakthrough and reliability. I can get 3, but for minus 25% production efficiency gain, or I can get 5 for half the production efficiency gain. That's going to cost very dearly. So I think instead I'm just going to go down the middle for now and pick up the bonuses there. So let's do that. And yes, I am actually going to spend that to upgrade the rifles that we literally just equipped. This couldn't have finished like a minute earlier, could it? All right. And that obviously means that I once again need to change these out. All right, there we go. Okay, that's done. So yeah, with the production efficiency cap, really, I can't do that right now. Not 50% slowdown. That's going to really cost. Let's keep an eye on the Sicilian situation. And I think the situation has somewhat normalized itself, but these divisions still need to. The problem is these are starting to dig in here, and we'll see. We'll defeat the counterattack here. How many divisions they're sending? 2 divisions north. We'll see how the situation develops. We'll just dig in here a little bit and wait for things to happen. But the tanks are ready for an armored thrust towards Chicago. So we will retake the enemy capital by breaking through what do we have here? Just Continentals and Red Guards. So these 2 divisions in the north, we should be able to. These are relatively capable divisions. So once we break through here, we should be able to cut them off. In Egypt, we have made our way. Out. So we'll leave the 69th here. In fact, we can leave the 68th here as well. We're just going to get the 75th to take the eastern position, and in order to prevent the 28th Ottoman Division from reinforcing, we'll pin them in place. That should allow us to encircle 4 divisions here. How's the Aleppo situation? Not looking great. Aleppo is under pressure. So wherever we're leaving the front lines, things are starting to fall apart very rapidly, unfortunately. So let's see if we can get the 75th in place in the desert in order to at least eliminate these 4 enemy divisions. And on the Persian front, yeah, we're making progress, but I think we may have to take a break. We'll see, because there are 2 dug-in divisions, 2 dug-in Ottoman divisions. We'll see if our Guards divisions can fight their way through. All right, China still holding strong. The mountain divisions are just literally trying to hold the line here against the repeated Japanese attacks, but hopefully the losses on our side are still not great, but hopefully are holding are staying within reason. These are pretty heavy manpower losses we're taking here. Okay, back to Sicily, where we are, I think, now in a position to try to launch another attack against Ancona, potentially, or we could try to reach Terni. That would be an option as well, because there's a single enemy division north here. But I'm assuming we'll be completely out of supply range once more, and then we'll not actually manage to take Terni itself. So we could launch. These are relatively capable divisions, unfortunately. We could try to launch another attack. We will try to launch another attack against the port of Ancona and see if we can manage to break through there. Despite the fact that they are relatively well dug in, but we're immediately getting counterattack from the north, so we're going to abort and defeat the enemy relief attack, because there might be some divisions near Ancona involved that we can then, once they're weakened, use to change the tides on them. All right, we have taken Chicago, which means we'll just eliminate that 1 division up in the north. And then the question arises, where do we go from here? Because I think the enemy lines are starting to significantly crack here, if I'm not mistaken. Although that looks like a bit of a counterattack into Union territory, quite, if I not say that, just as I mentioned that. So we don't want to overextend like last time. So what we could do is see if we can get this river crossing here sorted by sweeping south and just clearing out the enemy divisions and gaining momentum that way. So we can use the, let's see which one we got. We can use the 4th and 5th to launch the assault south and simply sweep along the lines here. And we're not going to destroy any enemy forces that way, but we'll free up all these tied up forces to get across the river, and that I think would be by itself a significant advance. All right, so here we're defending, and here we are in need of shortening the front lines, so we don't get troops moving out. You need to stay. In fact, you actually need to pin the enemy in the north until the 75th is in the desert, and then we will stop that attack. Okay, so stop that attack. And in fact, actually reinforce. The 68th can reinforce the. Relieve the 75th, who is going to have to hold in the desert against multiple enemy assaults here, but I think they will. So we'll relieve them, and then we will strike against the encircled enemy troops here, and they are completely cut off. Venezuela elects a syndicalist government. Maybe once the American Civil War is over, they can send some naval forces. Like, I don't know about here-ish. Venezuela has elected a syndicalist government in what has no doubt come as quite a blow to many entrenched interest groups. The Venezuelan people have elected the left-wing Partido Socialista de Venezuela to run the country. The PSV was not the favorite to win by any strength of an imagination and has many enemies. The oil-rich and strategically vital country occupies a special place in South America in terms of importance for foreign, particular US interests. As a result, it is unclear whether Venezuela's so-called revolution by ballot can survive in the face of implacable internal and foreign hostility, or whether the land of grace, as it was known to Christopher Columbus, will blossom as a major socialist power in Latin America. Really? A socialist Venezuela? Who could have thought of that? They'll have to figure that out. Okay. A little bit more I can do. All right. We've dealt a blow to the positions in the north. However, yeah, friendly troops are moving in towards Chicago, so we can get the 3rd Mechanized to join the thrust here. And in fact, actually, friendly troops have made their way across, so we can probably go along the south a bit and see that we can clear out the enemy positions there and just free up troops wherever possible. All right, we are getting a counterattack, but that isn't going to help them. In Italy, we're still defending, and in the desert, we are as well. So the 69th is not recovered quite yet. I am a little concerned about the capability of the 75th to hold off these assaults here, however. So we'll give the 69th a little bit more time, and then we are hopefully going to we're going to start counterattacking already with the 69th now. Right. Once we push the Ottomans out in the south, that'll hopefully stabilize the line for the 75th, and we have completed Engineer 2, which is dozer blades and just 50% entrenchment. And interestingly, what are these? This is some of the new. This might be a good entrenchment stack. Actually, this is some of the newer changes with I think the Armored Engineer Company. So wait, this gives the Armored Engineer plus 100% entrenchment for Armored Engineer companies. Ooh, that is very tempting. What do I need to make an Armored Engineer Company? Well, I'm probably going to need a special project. Do we actually have any special project? That is probably this one, yeah. So we have the breakthrough point. We could do the military engineering vehicle instead of waiting for the artillery triplex. I do like the super heavy howitzer, but I am not entirely certain where it goes. Is it like is that another project for the super heavy tanks that I end up not being able to use? Actually, interesting question. 100% entrenchment is massive. So I'm not actually building. So the thing is with this, I'm not actually building for entrenchment. That would have been grand battle plan, because that's 10 points of entrenchment basis, and then you get. But I think that would still be quite powerful. However, it would require us to build armored engineering vehicles that we would use, and I just don't have the industrial capacity for it. No, we'll leave things as is for now. But it's nice to see the. We might do it on a later stage. It's nice to see that's available. Okay, field hospitals we're not actually using yet, so I might throw a second one into air. We don't need armor-piercing bombs, but I do want the survivability studies. I think that's a really important one. So let's get that underway as well. Okay, this is starting to look sketchy. So but even if the 75th gets pushed back here, I think we can probably keep these pinned, because they are, at least some of them are now encircled, and we get the 69th guards. On. The problem is these troops here in the south. But if we can push, we're almost there. If we can push the enemy divisions out here, and I think we just have, then even if they get pushed back, then it's not a massive problem, because they can literally not escape or take this territory easily, because there's nobody assaulting them from the south, and they should be pinned in place. All right, complicated maneuvers, but meanwhile, Turkestan. What's going on in Turkestan? Muslims of Turkestan has always been viewed as more conservative and, in all honesty, Luddite and backwards compared to the more culturally Russified regions like Dagestan, Tatarstan, and Bashkiria. Many have identified this obscurantism as one reason why Turkestan has been stubbornly refusing to integrate into modern Russia and the modern world at large. As part of the overhaul of Central Asian security services and bureaucracy, we have also launched religious reforms in cooperation with the Orenburg Muslim Spiritual Assembly. Its Tatar and Bashkir priests are loyal to the government and have drafted plans for reforming the Turkestani religious institutions into a more modern form, closer to those of developed Muslim countries like the Ottoman Empire. Sounds like a good initiative, but costs me 25 political power. I could... Oh dear. All right. So, and this is going to be the last one I do because I need to stop recording because of pain. This is one of those choices, right? So, I've got 31 days until we can take the next. 31 days until we can take the next stranglehold of German capital decision. I need probably 50 political power to make it happen. There is the tariff wall, which comes cheaper, but preferably not really use that because it does have a stability loss. So with 30 days left, I would be just on track for 50 political power when that's finished. However, that would now that's the practical side, right? On the moral side, obviously it's a good initiative. It would increase the compliance. It would improve social conservatism, which I'm not particularly keen on, but at this point we've got 51% market liberals. So who's social conservative even in the... it's the VPP. Okay, so that is Vladimir III's own party. It's getting a little heavy anyway on the market liberals. We do like a healthy opposition. So this is a good initiative. The problem is it costs me 25 political power, which I really can't spare right now. The alternative would be increasing resistance by 15%, saying undermine Islam as much as possible, which is complete nonsense, obviously, since the Russian Empire is a multi-ethnic and multi-belief, multi-religion state. And no, this is against everything that the Russian Democratic Empire stands for. So no, we're not doing that. Even if that was actually from the values at least, the better one. No, it's a good initiative. It'll delay things by a month, but this has strengthened the social conservatives by quite a bit, and that is not a bad thing. So we're now integrating the Islamic regions more into the Russia proper. So apologies for a somewhat short episode, but I will get back to the fighting next week. Nothing really much has happened, to be honest, but I think we've got good momentum in the syndicates at this point, unless the union collapses, which this goes like back and forth, right? And a moment earlier they were looking good, but we'll see how this goes. Now they're standing at Jackson again. In Sicily, we're still looking for an opportunity to break through. We're making slow grinding progress in progress against the Ottomans. Aleppo is, to my great surprise, still holding, but I don't think for much longer. And we are, I think here, let's stop that. We are sort of at the end of the push here. So let's get all divisions concentrated. Let's let them recover, and then we will have another attempt at taking Basra and encircling all the northern divisions here. All of that to come in the next episode.